Hasty decision.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful village by the riverside. In that village lived a woman in a small house. The woman had an infant child, and she also raised a mongoose in her home. The mongoose was always by her side. Whenever the baby cried, the mongoose would entertain the child, and when the baby slept, the mongoose would rock the cradle. Moreover, whenever the woman asked for something, the mongoose would fetch it for her. If the woman went out to the market, the mongoose would look after the baby. One day, the woman went to the river to fetch water. She left the baby in the care of the mongoose and asked it to look after the child. The mongoose was playing with the baby when a snake arrived and climbed onto the baby's cradle. Seeing this, the mongoose fought fiercely with the snake to protect the baby. After a fierce battle, the mongoose killed the snake and saved the baby. The mongoose, eager to share the news, rushed towards the riverbank. The woman, returning with a pot of water, saw the mongoose running towards her with blood in its mouth. She immediately assumed that the mongoose had bitten her baby. Without thinking, she hastily threw the pot of water at the mongoose's head, killing it on the spot. The woman then ran back home, crying all the way. To her surprise, she found her baby happily playing in the cradle and the dead snake lying on the floor nearby. It was then that she realized her mistake and deeply regretted having killed the brave mongoose in her haste.
Think before you act. Once upon a time, there lived a lazy man in a village. He never worked and spent his days wandering around. Not only was he lazy, but he was also quite stingy. He would always be found sleeping and dreaming. One day, he attended a special event in the village where he was given food and a pot full of rice flour. He took the pot and headed back to his village. On the way, he felt tired and decided to rest. He tied the pot to a tree branch and lay down under the tree to sleep. As he slept, he began to dream. In his dream, there was a famine in the village. He sold the rice flour he had and made a lot of money. With that money, he bought 2 female goats. The goats grew up and gave birth to many kids. He sold the goats and earned a lot more money. With that money, he bought a cow. The cow produced a lot of milk, which he sold. Not only that, but the cow also had calves, which he sold for even more money. Then he bought some horses. The horses had foals, which he sold too. In this way, he accumulated a lot of goats, cows, and horses and became very wealthy. A wealthy man from the village married his daughter to him. His wife was very beautiful. Within a year, they had a beautiful baby. The baby grew up and started crawling. One day, while the man was working, the baby came and disturbed him. He called his wife and asked her to take the baby away. His wife was busy in the kitchen and replied, "I'm busy here. I can't come right now." The man got angry and thought, "You say that work is more important than me," and kicked the baby. In reality, he kicked his leg, which hit the pot of rice flour tied to the tree. The pot fell from the tree and shattered into pieces, mixing the flour with the ground. Thus, all his dreams were shattered along with the pot of rice flour.
Don't build castles in the air.
Neem tree and grass.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful forest filled with numerous trees. Among these trees grew tall grasses. In that forest, there was a large neem tree, and beneath it long grasses thrived. The neem tree often mocked the grass, saying, "How weak you are! Even a slight breeze bends you. Look at me, standing tall and strong. I'm the mighty one here." The grass, hearing this, remained silent. The next day, a fierce hurricane struck the forest. The branches of the neem tree broke, and eventually the entire tree uprooted and fell. However, the grass bent and swayed with the wind, avoiding any damage. Once the wind calmed, the grass returned to its original position, while the neem tree lay fallen. Seeing this, the grass told the neem tree, being strong isn't everything. Humility is what truly matters.
Flexibility and humility can be more valuable than strength and pride.
Crow and a snake.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful, lush green forest. In that forest stood a massive banyan tree where a crow and its mate had built their nest. One day the crow laid eggs and eagerly awaited the day when the chicks would hatch. The 2 crows were very happy. One day they went out in search of food and returned to find their eggs broken. Someone had come and destroyed them. The crows were deeply saddened. A few days later, the crow laid eggs again. This time, too, they found the eggs shattered when they returned from their outing. The crows were worried and puzzled as to why this was happening. A few days later, the crow laid eggs once more. To find out what was happening, one crow went out to search for food, while the other hid nearby to observe. It was then that the crow saw a snake that lived in a hole beneath the banyan tree, climbing up and breaking the eggs. When the other crow returned, it narrated the incident. The crows were devastated, realizing that it was the snake that had been breaking and eating their eggs all along. They didn't know what to do and discussed their options. The crows had a fox friend to whom they narrated the events. The fox then whispered a secret plan to the crow. According to the fox's plan, the female crow flew to the palace pool. There in the morning, the princess came to bathe and left her jewelry on the shore before entering the water. Seizing the moment, the crow took the princess's valuable pearl necklace and flew away. Seeing this, the princess cried out, "Oh no, my pearl necklace is being taken by the crow! Someone catch it!" Hearing this, the palace guards ran after the crow. The crow flew to the banyan tree where it lived and perched there. As the guards reached the banyan tree, the crow dropped the necklace into the snake's hole, making sure the guards saw it. Then, the crow flew away. The guards saw the crow drop the pearl necklace into the hole and reached in to retrieve it, but they couldn't find the necklace. Unsure of what to do next, they decided to dig into the hole using spades. They dug deep, and eventually, the snake living inside hissed and came out. Seeing the snake, the guards killed it with their swords. The crows were overjoyed and thanked their fox friend for the clever plan.
Evil begets evil. The foolish donkey.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful village surrounded by lush green fields. Nearby, there was a verdant forest filled with many animals. In that forest, a donkey and a fox were friends. They were always seen together, talking and wandering around. One day, the fox told the donkey, "The crops in the fields of the neighboring village have grown rich and lush. Tonight, let's go there and fill our bellies with the crops." The donkey was very happy and agreed. That night, the fox and the donkey quietly went to the fields in the neighboring village. The owner of the field was sleeping. The donkey and the fox silently ate their fill of the grains. Once their bellies were full, the donkey said, "Friend, I am very happy now. When I am happy, I feel like singing. So, I am going to sing a song now." The fox pleaded, "Friend, the farmer is sleeping here. If he wakes up, he won't spare us. He will beat us to death. So please don't sing now." But the donkey didn't listen to the fox. "Friend, I am too excited. I must sing now," it said, opening its mouth wide. The fox said, "Wait a moment, friend. Let me run and hide first. Then you can sing." The donkey agreed, and the fox ran and hid in a nearby bush. The donkey, overcome with joy, brayed loudly. Hearing the donkey's loud braying, the farmer woke up. He saw the donkey and realized it had destroyed his crops. The farmer was very angry. The farmer had a stick in his hand and beat the donkey with it. The donkey's leg broke and it hobbled back to the forest.
Never undertake any task without considering the consequences.